Any views or opinions expressed on KUR are not necessarily those of Kutztown University, Kutztown University Student Government, Kutztown University Student Services Incorporated, KUR staff and management, or other affiliated organizations.
Good evening. We're now on board the Paranormal Express, here on the radio voice of Kutztown University, KUR. My name is Nicholas Zerfos, one of your hosts for this evening, and with me is
Jake McDaniel.
And today, on our ghostly trek across these haunted rails, we are talking about a particular topic today that is that of beings, creatures, phenomena that precede either events of terrible disasters, plagues, just anything basically.
There's a very simple way to put this title.
There is.
Yeah, just call them Harbingers of Doom.
Harbingers of Doom. That's a really cool way to put it, especially a very
Or
cool...
portents of Doom. That's a word that I like a lot.
That is a very crazy word. Yes. What does it mean?
It's like a premonition.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's something that precedes like an event.
So
a harbinger.
You know, some of the most simplest icons of
Yeah, a warning, basically.
Yeah, it's a little bit more in depth than just like an omen.
Actually, wait a minute. Portents are actually just that is the word in and of itself describes what this episode is.
Okay.
Because it's a sign or warning that something, especially something momentous or calamitous, is likely to happen.
So it could be good or bad, momentous or calamitous.
Yeah.
That's
so a good omen or a bad omen.
Yeah. Which actually one of our topics today is actually due to, the history and time, it was once a good thing and then became a bad thing, but yeah.
Oh, yes.
So I hope you guys enjoy.
It's not me referencing one of my topics. It's you referencing your topic.
It's me referencing my own topic, yeah.
Or you referencing my topic, yeah.
I guess I should just go into it then, if we're just going to go into it. Okay. So, one of the first calamities I'd like to talk about, Oh, it did sound like it restarted. That's interesting.
Yeah, it did. I was very confused by that.
Our old weird radio we found somewhere that we use for the music we have in the background kind of gets a little weird sometimes. So
it's really good quality for an old weird radio.
It really is, yeah. It's one of those stupid ghost hunters, man. Left one of his little, they call it spirit boxes, like as if I want to talk to you, bro.
It's just a screen though, right? It's one of those.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite spirit box.
Yeah, that's actually, can we go on this little tangent really quick?
Go ahead.
I am so upset about that. I cannot believe that these ghost hunters are so self-start nowadays with no credibility. They use apps on their phones now to try to talk to us. As if I wanted to talk through some old copper wire radio. Now they think an app on their phone is going to do it? All right, it's crazy. I don't know. It's almost offensive.
From a hunter, hey, you up?
What
are you doing?
Yeah, what's next? They're going to figure out how to send ghost emails, dude? I swear. Man,
Gmail.
Having an email for this long, being this dead, I have way too many left up in my inbox, so I do not need any more BS. So, okay, anyway, back on track. What I'm going to be talking about today, I kind of leaned into it when I described the way we kind of haunt our rails and we scream across the night in our locomotive. I'm going to be talking about the wild hunt. Now, you may have heard this in...
Were you thinking about calling it a different thing, like one of their other names?
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
But the Wild Hunt, you might recognize the name from a few images of pop culture, either if you've been catching up recently with the Witcher
Or
series
just
on
playing the
Netflix,
games.
or playing the game The Witcher,
Which is
was
pretty
aptly
old.
titled the Wild Hunt. Funny enough, I used to think it was a DLC.
I did too.
I thought it was
But no,
just an
that's,
add-on,
Blood
but that
and
was
Wine,
just
I
a
think, is
sub
the
name
DLC.
for the game. So, anyway, just to get into a little bit of nitty on that. Upon his massive survey of Germanic European folklore, Jacob Grimm, one of the fabled brothers Grimm, discovered a repetitious haunt that covered much of northern Europe. The Wild Hunt, also known as also known as the Wildejagd, in more Germanic origin, or the raging host in southern Germanic or European countries. The Wild Hunt was a terrifying party of undead hunters, warriors, and even hunting hounds that pursued an unknown quarry. Originally an undead army led by Odin, all-father of Norse origin, called the Einherjar. Einherjar. Einherjar, yeah, there you go. That hunt wasn't necessarily always perceived as a terrifying fate, but that of honor for fallen warriors that are chosen from Valhalla and trained for the ultimate end of Ragnarok. And in that, the hunt wasn't necessarily an entity to avoid, as it brought festivities and gifts sometimes, like a post-apocalyptic Santa Claus with his psycho elves. You never know what you might have been greeted with getting caught up in the storm of the Wild Hunt. It could be something as simple as a little bit of peat moss, or maybe follow that up by human organs. Who knows? It's a mixed bag when Big Daddy Odin is in town. It's
one of the other leaders, but yeah.
Or yes, I mentioned Odin just because it seems to come back around to him most often
It does.
within Jacob's research. Though there are many names, pseudonyms, and epithets, something as simple as the tall, cloaked-capped man still have many similarities.
The hat and staff combo, man.
Yeah, it's the hat and staff combo. Seem to all trace back to Odin in some way, because Odin, of course, simply has at least 7 names that come to mind up front, and then can go from there. It is not until later, within the slow loss of old traditional Scandinavian beliefs and values, and the rapid Christianization making the old gods unfamiliar, that it is further twisted into this terrifying force of darkness. To quote a haunting instance from Jacob Grimm himself, it quotes, beginning, "As the Christian God has not made them his, they fall due to the old heathen one." So there were instances in which people believed, of course, if you died and were good, you'd go to heaven and you'd be with Jesus himself.
Kanye.
But if you failed to be good, you would be caught up in the storm of the Wild Hunt and forever trapped there as you're a restless spirit raving across the sky, with the burden of being just a being that is endlessly hunting. Either hunting for the redemption of being with God, or in other instances,
That's
just
the Christian version of it, right?
yes, yeah.
Okay.
That's like always the overlying like demonization of some old tradition, which was the Wild Hunt. And other physical forces, many natural phenomena were still attributed to these divine circumstances, such as, of course, thunder and lightning. Always goes to Thor and his brothers,
Very, very frightening.
and even something
not
as
going
simple as a great gust at night across someone's house could have been attributed to maybe the force of the Wild Hunt going overhead. Though most people, of course, wish to be within their own homes at the time, which is especially convenient as of late with COVID. Could have been interesting enough that
the Wild Hunt on their wind carries COVID.
yeah. Because of course all of this leads to the Wild Hunt being in and of itself a phenomena that precedes disaster, mainly believed to be war, but also could be plague or other great instances of apocalyptic wrath of some sort. I saw some stuff that was even like socially, people started distrusting each other and almost seemingly going mad in the way that they treated their own neighbors that they had loved before a random event had happened. Not
Random
much I could.
event?
Well, I'm sorry.
Sorry, what?
So,
sorry to interrupt you there, but
No.
It seems like the wind of the wild hunt has blown a paper to your side.
oh yes, it has.
Oh, okay, yeah, you gotta hit. Yeah, you gotta hit the
Live
mic.
sound effects, man. That's what the budget's for.
That was what the wind was. Must have been the wind.
So on this great blood-soaked parchment paper we have from the KUR Notebook, Attention KU Community. The trans and non-binary support group meetings will be held every other Monday starting February 7th. This group is for folks who identify with this community only. Email us for information on the location and time, RSVP via email, and for more info, LGBTQ Resource Center at kutztown.edu. Again, that is LGBTQ Resource Center at kutztown.edu. This message is brought to you by the radio voice of Kutztown University, KUR. And away it goes again. Okay.
Yeah, they're taking it back. They want that paper back. It was only for that.
Yeah, people don't know about the second
That's-
wave of the Wild Hunt after they leave.
Yeah, Odin is now trans. He's a trans supporter at the very least.
Oh, I have no doubt.
The original Odin, not the Christian, anti-Odin
Oh, yeah.
propaganda.
Anti-Odin.
Anti-Odin
And
propaganda. And Odin.
So, though not wish to getting back into many instances of windstorms, as I was saying, nighttime thunderstorms, fog, or bizarre events of the sky could have been attributed to the hunt, as it was mainly assumed with the sky itself. Most of instances of the wild hunt start in the sky as they move
I was gonna
until
ask
they target.
if you thought that the Northern Lights would have been considered part of the wild hunt, but then I realized no, those are serpents. Those are dragons.
Yeah, because they appear as fire, or they appear as the way they kind of zigzaggy and have the backs, almost like. I mean, if I had to say they look like something, they look more like Eastern dragon forms, just because they're serpent-like. But of course, we've talked about this before in our dragon episode. There were dragons in even more Western, Northern Scandinavian that were more serpent-like in
Especially
form.
Scandinavian ones, I think.
Yeah. I think it was Nidalhog that I had talked about, the death dragon.
Yeah.
After that, though not worshipped solely, Odin and the gods of Aesir were traditionally referenced socially. Though growing increasingly more occult, it is in this that the wild hunt began to precede events of disaster such as plagues of war, as I was mentioning. The call of the hunt can be heard by one, and it could be meant to be an omen of horrible events to the listener, as it comes with sweeping destruction and terrorization, even sometimes as vanilla as causing a kerfuffle in the streets at night. Loud noises and bantering and maybe drunkenly approaching places, things like that. But so that's
the wild hunt is what got them drunk.
The what?
The wild hunt is what got them drunk.
Yeah. I mean, where do you think Jägermeister came from? Anyway. I think that's all I really wanted to get out from the wild hunt. So yeah,
All right.
I'm sure we could go on. Like you said, there's so many different leaders and references
So
to
many.
what
There's the two
the
women
party
who
is.
lead it as well.
Yeah.
I forget their names, but yeah.
There was the
They're
dude
the German
who
ones.
had the blood battle axe in his name, as he was named because of how good he was at war, and his wife Gunhildr. That was a reference to have been brought with that. But yeah, so how would you like us to continue? What do you have?
I have probably the most modern of these. The Mothman,
Oh,
who lives on what's the Muffin Man? Where does he live?
Dury Lane.
Yeah, Mothman, who lives on Derry Lane. Actually, no, he lives in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Although I don't think he's been sighted since this time in 1966. Yeah. So I think everyone's probably heard of the Mothman to some extent. He's very famous, very well known. I don't know why he's called the Mothman, but because he's described as having with glowing red eyes that are 2 inches in diameter and 10-foot wings. So his wingspan is about 10 feet. That's a little bit bigger than that. 2 inches is more like that. It's still big for an eye, yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
Okay. Sure. But yeah, so he was sighted around the Point Pleasant area. Originally, I think one of the earliest sightings, I'm was in another area of West Virginia, still close by, but it was called, it looks like Clendenin, West Virginia. That was a couple days before his sighting in Pleasant Point, or rather Point Pleasant. I spoke there. So he was sighted around the area, terrorizing people, just because he was a terrifying-looking creature. He is a portent of disaster in that over the course of a few weeks, or actually months, he was appearing around this specific area of around a bridge in the area, which connected over to a town in Ohio, which in December of 1966, I believe, that bridge collapsed during rush hour traffic.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, a total of, I think a total of 46 people had died during that.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout the aftermath, people were theorizing things about why this happened. Of course, there was the more logical people saying that there was a fault, or like a structure of the bridge where there's some of the faulty parts that caused it. But then you have people who are like, hey, this creature's been appearing. He's got something to do with it. He's an alien. Yeah, there were people who were saying that he's an alien. And then there was others who were just saying that, like, no, he caused it somehow. But then there were, like, other people that, were like, hold on. I don't think he caused it. I think despite his terrifying appearance, he, the Mothman, was a sort of trying to warn us about it, being like, hey, look at me. Bridge is going to collapse.
Mm-hmm.
Though he can't speak because he's a bird. Yeah, that's one of the more logical theories about the origins, actually, or what it actually was that it was a specific species of large heron, which is termed by this county sheriff as a shite poke. That's what he called the bird.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard birds with worse names, so...
Yeah, it's interesting. Other people say it's a sandhill crane, which is another large species of bird, which has about a 7-foot wingspan, so not quite as big. I did say here that I think it's interesting that he's called the Mothman, but he is not really moth-like. He's very bird-like in his appearance. Supposedly, though, the name may have been coined due to the popularity of Batman, the Batman TV series at the time, though. He has a specific Rogues Gallery villain called Killer Moth. That villain did not appear in the show, but they think that those popularity of that sort of created this, or caused the people at the time to coin the term Mothman for him. Yeah, that's basically all there is to Mothman as far as I have found. Maybe there were later sightings that I missed. There later in 1975, so about 10 years later, a little less than that, there was a book called The Mothman Prophecies, written by John Keel, which just kind of goes into the Mothman phenomenon in general, and there was a movie adaptation in 2002 about it. But that's basically all I have on the Mothman.
The Mothman.
It's very interesting. I remember seeing him as a child. Not actually seeing him, but seeing him on TV or something. Maybe it was that movie.
I was going to say, whoa.
I mean, I lived in Oregon at the time. I don't think...
The statue is so cool looking.
Oh, yeah, there is a statue of him in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. I want to go and see it.
Yeah.
We need to stop our train there sometime.
I had an old friend who talked about it a lot because they would visit there. They were just such fans of occult stuff like that. They would go see that. They'd go to Salem around Halloween at its peak of prosperity. And
now I know who you're talking about.
Cool it is. I mean, it looks like a suit of armor. It's insane. Yeah. It's very metallic. Very the chest plate is almost Roman or Greek.
I forget when they put that up, actually. Let me check that out. It's on this... Yeah, there's a section here called Festivals and Statues.
That would actually be interesting.
So, there's an annual festival.
Yeah, I'm sure you could find a lot more about Mothman going there and talking to people or seeing the museums that they have. Because apparently there's many, many stories. And I'm sure there's people today who will still say that they've seen or have had an instance in which they saw a strange creature and then something happened, but then because they were warned of it They didn't go outside that day.
One of my
They avoided
other
this.
things also kind of has something like that, where he has various sightings that I couldn't really find descriptions of or
Yeah.
anything, like what he did, except for one. So
Gotcha.
that's extend into the modern times.
Is it about time we move on to our messages, or?
Yes, actually, it is about that time.
Okay. You know what? I have a perfect story to back up yours about creatures that precede natural disasters specifically, and that's going to be a fascinating thing to move on to. While we move on to a few messages, of course, you know how it is here. Ghost coal doesn't buy itself, nor do the workers that keep the train going. So we'd like to give you guys a few messages while we take a break, and we'll be back here on the rails of the Paranormal Express on the radio voice of Kutztown University, KUR.
KUR True Crime is bringing you some of the most compelling crimes in history. Tune in every other Thursday at 7 p.m. for a new case full of questions, twists, and theories. Find all our episodes on Spotify by searching Kutztown University Radio. Buckle up, it's crime time.
I don't recycle. I mean, we can just find another planet for your kids to live on, you know?
Noted non-recycler Tommy Crenshaw talks about the future.
Oh, I can totally see finding another planet that can support life when ours fills up with trash.
As an alternative to recycling?
Yeah, an alternative. So we, don't have to do it. Recycling. There are lots of planets. Finding one is just a matter of time.
Many people say that recycling is pretty simple and convenient. A matter of keeping select items out of the trash. A lot simpler than finding a new planet, Tommy.
Come on, there's a bunch of planets out there.
Would you recycle on this new planet, Tommy? Or just use it up and throw it away too?
I really don't have a clue.
Log on to yougottabekidding.org and learn about all the ways you can recycle. Unless you're into lame excuses like Tommy's.
Hey, recycling's just not my thing. Starting over on a new planet? Now that's exciting.
Don't be that guy. Unless you want people looking at you funny. Log on to yougottabekidding.org.
Welcome back.
Chugga, 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 chugga. Okay.
Don't be like Tommy.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We run purely on your listening ship.
I mean,
That's what the
guys,
train runs
yeah,
on
I
now.
talk about a ghost coal, but you'll
ghost
be
coal
happy.
doesn't go
You'll
in
be
the
happy to
atmosphere.
know. You'll be happy to know it has zero carbon footprint. All right,
No,
this
it's
stuff
all
is so efficient.
ectoplasm.
It's insane.
Everything
Yeah,
is ectoplasm.
Straight ectoplasm. The only
It's like
byproduct.
atoms.
Yeah, the only byproduct of ghost coal is the minute screams that come out of it when it's burned. But
The
that's fine.
wailings.
We can't hear it
Kidding.
back here. That's more the conductor's problem, which is probably why
Yeah.
he's so miffed all the time. I don't know.
Yeah.
It must get to you sooner or later. So anyway, if you're just joining us here on the radio voice of Kutztown University, KUR, we're going to be talking about beings and phenomena that precede natural disaster or some form of disaster or apocalyptic or destructive or just bad timey go-go, Best way I could have put that, huh? Before we left for our break, we were talking about Mothman, the legendary Mothman of American origin. And now I thought I'd move on to another creature. Though not hybrid animal man, it is still an animal creature that does precede natural disasters, specifically earthquakes. This one is fascinating. I'm going to be talking about, on a broader term, catfish.
Oh,
But on a
I know what
specific
you're-
term,
Okay.
namazu,
Yeah.
which is a yokai.
The,
It's one of many fish that in Japanese
Wish
culture.
Cash.
Yeah.
There was
I'm
that
glad you
episode
knew
of-
that because
there
that was
that
going to
episode
reference.
of Pokemon that was not aired in Japan because there was an earthquake that had caused a tsunami. Around the time that there was a specific episode of Pokemon
That is
where
crazy.
Wish Cash does the same thing. He causes an earthquake and it
Yeah.
creates a tsunami.
Yeah. So Wish Cash is in that term and sense based on namazu, which is a yokai, which is one of many fish that, interestingly enough, in Japanese culture is perceived as either a deity or that of a powerful spirit that is very significant. They have many fish that they believe to
Is
be
he
this
considered
way.
a kami?
Not specifically, no.
Okay.
Not from what I saw. But namazu is just one of these fish that is a harbinger or prophet of disaster in Japan itself. Namazu was a giant catfish that would occasionally wiggle its tail and simply caused many earthquakes across Japan with that because of its tremendous size. It was, I believe, 650 to almost over 13,000 feet, if translated and put into weird terms. So very, very large, inhabiting the Pacific Ocean. It's interesting how catfish began to gather this perception. It was mainly due to the notable strange behavior of catfish prior to earthquakes that is still observable to this day. I don't know, I didn't see much if scientists have an understandable reason for this, but mainly in the Tokugawa period, between the 1600s and the 1800s, Namazu was recognized as a river deity itself. It was associated with floods and heavy rains. However, Namazu could warn of their coming as well. It eventually succeeded many yokai creatures. I believe there is a dragon beetle and a serpent that were first in this class of yokai that were earth shakers, as they're called, as they're roughly
That's an
translated
epithet for
from.
Poseidon,
Yeah.
the earth shaker.
But then it was Namazu that then took up the reins as being the earth shaker. And that is what I was going to lead into with Wish Cache. Why did you ever wonder why it was part ground as well as water? Yeah. I actually didn't
I thought
think
you were
about
gonna be like,
that.
why did you say that? You screwed me up.
No. No, I don't mind, because that was a great way to segue into this. But yeah, that's very interesting, Wish Cache. Also, I'm going to go off on a little bit of tangent because I'm a Pokemon game nerd. In the original Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games, Wish Cache is a notable character in the game and actually is your first mentor of wisdom when it comes to talking about natural disasters that are showing up in the game. That is like part of the main course of it. And that's just another great reference to Namazu, the catfish. However, now in a more modern time, the giant oarfish is now believed to be a distant relative of Namazu or a new form of that kind of
That is
responsibility.
the origin of a lot of sea monster theories.
Yes, because I mean, understandably so, as the largest recorded giant oarfish was 56 meters, 56 feet long. Sorry,
Yes.
17 meters.
That and I forget what they're called, but like the, I'll just say corpse of a whale. Like I forget there's a specific term that's given to them, but when they wash up on shore, they look weird, and people are just like, "What is this thing?"
Gotcha.
I just forget what they're called. There's a specific term for them, and I don't feel like looking them up because I don't think I want to look at that.
Likened to drowned, and it's like they thought the name came from the Old Norse corpse and whale. Nafhaver, or narwhal?
Narwhal?
Huh. Oh, they're just discussing the entomology of it. Anyway, sorry, I went off. I was trying to look that up, but so it is strange about the giant oarfish, and that's most notable in a more recent modern event. What was that?
The oarfish is related to catfish, is what you're saying, or
not necessarily catfish, but they think a
It's
more
related
modern
to-
incarnation of what Namazu was once is that of an oarfish,
old-
because catfish still, they do get to pretty ridiculous sizes. If
Yeah.
you've seen large catfish, they can get to 5 to 10 to even 15 feet long in some instances. But the fact that oarfish are much, much greater sea serpent-like,
Yes.
they believe that now to be a more powerful looking physical manifestation
So I think
of
there was
this
like an
kind of
ancient
sphere.
oarfish around Japan
Yeah.
that was seen by them. They were like,
Yeah.
this is why we have earthquakes.
In fact, artist renditions I see look more like oarfish than they do like catfish. At least what we perceive catfish to be.
Right.
Brown, flat-faced, mud skipper kind of creatures. But this is the craziest thing about this whole thing tying together oarfish. 2010, the largest number in the 21st century of oarfish found on the coast of Japan, dead. There's 12.
It's a lot.
2000. Guess what happened in 2011? That was a notable disaster in Japan.
An earthquake?
Yep, the earthquake of
I do remember that, yeah,
the
in Fukushima.
Fukushima earthquake.
Yeah.
The one that
there
also
was even
caused
supposed to be like a tsunami that hit California from that. I
Yeah,
just don't
and
think
there
it
was
too big.
one that hit Japan as well.
Yes.
That was the
That was their
earthquake
first
was
one.
what fractured reactor 3, I believe.
I don't know,
Of the
but-
power plant.
Okay.
And then number 4 lost power because of the tsunami that then followed. And that was a very significant event because it did cause a meltdown
Yeah.
that then caused.
There are only a few people I think that live in that area right now.
Yeah.
There are some though. It's not
They,
like
they are
Chernobyl.
actually. There's a couple hundred actually.
Mhm.
It's crazy. I've read a lot of things about how they have to specially prepare food at like the schools that children go to
Really?
there, and they
Okay.
still do that.
Huh.
Just because there's a lot of traditionalists that are like they're not going to give up
Yeah.
their house. They've lived there. It's been in their generations. Lots of stuff like that.
Wasn't there a guy who stayed to take care of the animals?
Yeah,
Because,
there was.
Or was that Chernobyl? No, that was there.
It was there.
Because he was like,
Um,
well, I'm old.
Have you ever seen like photos of them recently? Like there's just you'll find perfectly neatly carried like bags of dirt because they took like the first 4 inches of topsoil off almost everything
Jeez.
in that area because that was the most irradiated stuff. Then everything underneath was actually left untouched once they controlled everything.
Right.
So I just thought that was really, really, really strange that there was that oarfish showing up on land, and then that led into there being an earthquake. However, scientists have to come on in and be the realist about everything. Oarfish activity that brings them more to the surface, even though they live predominantly in deeper oceans.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of the weather phenomena called El Nino?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It brings a lot more warmer water to the surface of the water in the southern Pacific. And in that, more plankton and phytoplankton show up, which is the main food source of oarfish. So it brings them closer to the surface. And oarfish are incredibly dumb. They can't swim well because of the large, massive bodies with very, very small fins. And they apparently just don't know how to serpently like move through the water.
Huh.
So they mainly float and they rely on coastal currents
Yeah.
to move, which then also spell their doom, bringing them closer to the land. So that is Namazu and a few of the fish that Japanese believe have these kind of powers and influences.
That's interesting, yeah.
I just thought I never would have thought that it would lead back to such a modern
Yeah.
event of a catastrophe like
Yeah.
that. So
And also something that, like, is very worldwide of, like, this is a sea monster. Because they're
Oh, yeah.
found in Europe. I was like, this is the origin of a lot of sea monsters in Europe. That and something I'm not going to mention. That has to do with whales.
gotcha.
I'm still wondering, because, like, there's a certain sea monster called the Gloucester Serpent, which is from Gloucester, Boston, I believe, or Massachusetts. Sorry, Boston's not a state. I can't. They're said to have like a horse-like face, and I don't know what that could have been. I think some people still say it was probably an oarfish, but we don't know.
It looks a lot like the puckless monster.
Excuse me.
It's nay on the puck A. I don't know. Yeah. Wow, that is a really, really weird looking.
Are you looking at the?
Yeah, the
Gloucester serpent?
The Gloucester serpent. Yeah. Gloucester. I don't know. It looks like glucose meter, but it's Gloucester.
I've always heard it pronounced Gloucester.
Mhm.
Although I think I have a grandfather who lives around a Gloucester in the state that he lives in, or he did at one point, and he said it was like Gloucester.
Yeah, off the coast of Massachusetts and Cape Ann area in the United States.
There's also Champ, I think, or Champy, which lives in Lake Champlain.
Champy's such a cute.
It is.
Champy's world's famous fried chicken. Tennessee. All right.
Yeah, we
So
could do an
what-
episode on sea serpents or something at some point.
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
But
We definitely touched on like more of an origin of sea serpents with like the Eastern dragon talk that we had, but
yeah.
which is another episode you guys can check in on for dragons. We're definitely gonna do more in the
course.
future, so why not?
But yeah, so I guess I'll go into my next topic, at least for a little bit here. Got a couple minutes before we need to take a break. But so this is a small topic, small in stature as well.
Small. Okay.
The Nain Rouge, or the Red Dwarf.
Okay.
It's French. It's a hobgoblin-like entity. It has a mix of origins from the Native American tribes around Detroit in Michigan and France, because of course at one point that area was a French colony, I guess you can call it. So yeah, the main like story about this red imp or goblin the Nain Rouge. This is what it's called, Nain, because I didn't know that for a long time. So the main story is like about Detroit's founder, which is Antoine de la Mothe Cadillac. Don't know if I'm pronouncing all that right, but that's his name. But in this legend, Cadillac was said to have been warned by a fortune teller, or a witch, maybe, if you want to call her that. I don't know if she would have liked that, but she's usually called a fortune teller. To not disrespect or like wrong the Nain Rouge. But of course, like the dumb colonizer he was, he is said to have beaten the Nain Rouge once he came across the imp. And of course, after this, Cadillac fell into dire straits. He was kicked out of Detroit and sent to another part of Louisiana to, I guess, govern or something. I don't know if he was the governor of Louisiana or Detroit or whatever. Eventually, he was sent back to France, and he was imprisoned for a time. And eventually, he died in obscurity with having lost his fortune. But outside of this origin, there's the imp supposedly appears before disaster falls upon the city of Detroit. It is said to have appeared before the Battle of Bloody Run, where 58 British soldiers were killed by Chief Pontiac. And like in this sighting, the monster is said to have danced among the corpses on the banks of the River Detroit, or the Detroit River. Additionally, it's said to be the reason why Detroit was surrendered during the War of 1812, and why the I forget the guy's name, but why the governor or whatever at the time failed. He's said to be the cause of that. There are a few other sightings. This is the creature that I said where like there's other sightings of him, but there's not really a description of what happened or what he did. I mean, there's a description of the disaster that he supposedly was the warning for. But it was the Great Fire of 1805 in Detroit, the deadly blizzard of December 1974, and the Great Blackout of August 2003, which is a very modern version.
Yeah, definitely. 2003, yeah.
Yeah, he's an interesting little guy.
Little rascal.
A little rascal.
You know, it's funny. I was looking that up while you were talking, and I didn't realize how prevalent it is in Detroit's culture.
Oh yeah, they have like
today.
a whole like festival for him. I see a picture of this guy who looks like your friend holding up a sign that says "Be nice to the Nain."
Yeah, I see that too. Yeah, pro-Nain protesters at the 2019 Du Nain Rouge.
It's Marche du Nain Rouge. Yeah.
Marche du Nain Rouge.
The March of the Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
So this would be.
That's fascinating, and there's
Yes.
lots of businesses and the Detroit Beer Company itself as their mascot. It's
Mhm.
fascinating. I think that's funny because we were talking about it earlier. American specific devils. We were talking
Yeah.
about the Jersey Devil a little
course.
bit. I don't think he has the same, or it has the same proceeding of being
No, I
a
don't think
herald of
so.
omens, but
It is interesting though.
it is, yes.
And there was even an X-Files episode about it.
Really?
I'm pretty sure we watched that one. Yeah. It's a very early episode.
Huh.
I think in that one though, it was just kind of like a wild man type thing, like Bigfoot.
Yeah.
There's a story about Bigfoot that I really like that where it's like a wild man that has to do with Teddy Roosevelt. It's very interesting. Yeah, there's not much else on the Nain Rouge. I do think it's kind of funny that like Cadillac was warned about this and then he just did the exact opposite thing he was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
He literally beat the imp or the dwarf, whatever you want to call it, with his cane.
Yeah.
Why?
Is that where Raising Cane comes from?
I don't know. I
No,
don't
probably
think so.
not. That's probably not even close.
But
But-
yeah, and then of course, like because of that, he's said to have been cursed by the Nain Rouge. Like, yeah, obviously, you did the opposite of what you were warned to do. The description, I'll go into like a description of the Nain Rouge because I just said he was hobgoblin-like. There's like a little bit of a description here. He's said to have like a very red face, of course, which is why he's called the Red Dwarf. He has bright, glistening eyes, and apparently instead of burning, it froze. Instead of possessing depth, emitted a gold gleam, like the reflection from a polished surface, bewildering and dazzling to all who came across it. He's also has a grinning mouth with displaying sharp, pointed teeth, completing this strange face. A very interesting creature. Apparently his teeth are also rotten, and he has blazing red eyes now. That's another description down. But yeah, so I think it's about time to take another break.
Let's get that coal, baby.
Get the coal.
We're back.
So we'll see you guys in a little bit.
Here on the radio voice of Kutztown University, KUR.
Did you know that KUR, Kutztown University's award-winning radio station, is on Spotify? We offer an incredible sampling of some of our best talk, informational, and educational programming as podcasts on the service. Find KUR's podcast page on Spotify by typing in the words Kutztown University Radio or Kutztown University into the Spotify search bar. This is KUR, the radio voice of Kutztown University.
Programming on KUR brought to you by the students of Kutztown University Radio. I'm Mitchell Smedley at the KUR News Desk. Checking campus headlines, Kutztown University's LGBTQ+ Resource Center and Women's Center are partnering to bring a new diversity campaign to campus. The Kutztown All-Inclusive Establishment Initiative is a window sticker campaign that will promote visible acceptance of diversity throughout Kutztown. This campaign aims to make Kutztown students and community members feel safe navigating around campus and able to easily identify safe spaces. The initiative includes communicating with local businesses, helping them understand what being an all-inclusive establishment means, as well as displaying Kutztown All-Inclusive Establishment window stickers. This campaign is supported by the Kutztown Community Partnership Board, KU President Dr. Kenneth S. Hawkinson, and Senior Associate Dean of Students, as well as Chief Diversity Officer Jerry Shear. We check news hourly on KUR.
Welcome back to the train.
The rails are chugging. I mean,
We got that coal.
wheels are chugging. That coal's in hot, baby. We're ready to go.
Our rails chug here.
We're here on
We put coal into the rails.
Absolutely.
Our
We're
rails
here
are
on
burning.
the Paranormal Express on the radio voice of Kutztown University, KUR, guys. So thank you so much for being here today. Continuing off, what we're talking about basically is events.
Harbingers of doom.
Yep. Cataclysmic events
Yes.
usually have some kind of warning signs ahead.
Collapsing of
We're talking about
bridges.
the interestingness of floppy fish.
Floppy fish.
Floppy fish do be doing stuff
They do be
ahead of
doing
earthquakes. They do be doing earthquakes. So
They do be quaking that earth.
wow, we sound disheveled. Don't worry, it's fine.
I am disheveled. I'm always
Yeah.
disheveled.
I mean, it is late upon the time that we're recording this, even for
It's
us
always late.
ghosts. Yeah, it's always late. It's
we live in
always dark.
Alaska. No, we don't.
The worst part of living in Alaska, when it's dark all the time.
I like that.
So what we just finished with was the Red Dwarf, or the
Nain Rouge.
the Nain Rouge of Detroit fame.
Yes.
Now I'm going to put a warning, a disclaimer ahead of time. The most hastily described effort put into this next topic, and that's the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Now, I think I'm speaking to an audience that doesn't need a lot to get started on that idea. I think we know it a lot. I mean, they're very deeply rooted in a lot of forms of pop culture, whether that be movies, TV shows, video games. You might have played. I mean, the first time I think I thought about it deeply enough, it was Darksiders. Remember that?
I remember the game,
franchise?
but I never played it.
Yeah, you play as War, basically, or like the Horseman of War, and then your adversary's death. And then the second one, you flip it, your death in that one.
Oh.
It's interesting. It's one of those beat 'em up games. Anyway, that's already a fantastic start. But basically, 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are a Judeo-Christian idea, and that is first appearing in the Old Testament, the prophetic book of Zechariah, in the book of Ezekiel, where they are basically like punishments of God.
Yeah.
What are the 4 horsemen? One is the horseman of death itself. Then we have famine, a merchant that is the dissolving and destruction of food and sources for people. Then there's war itself, bringer of great calamities that are forced by powers, political and not. And then we have, actually, what do you think the fourth one is? So we have death, war, famine.
Pestilence, right?
Interestingly enough, it is not claimed as, it is pestilence, yes, but its main name is actually conquest.
Ah.
Interestingly enough, I would think war would be conquest, but war is the act of achieving conquest, but the ramifications of conquest are a little bit more nuanced and specific.
Right.
So,
I mean,
conquest itself.
The reason we were able, colonizers were able to colonize is usually because of pestilence, and that's a conquest.
Yeah, true. In here, it says there are a few instances in which it's described as pestilence, Christ itself, or the Antichrist, actually. Interestingly enough, that both of those could be...
You know, they're just like, hey, devil, come on.
Yeah.
To us. Although devil's Greek, technically.
And each of these are described artistically in a very famous painting by Viktor Vastanasov, or Viktor Vanetsov, which is the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse from 1887. And it shows the four of them as they are described in some instances in the Bible. One of conquest has a crown and a bow. War itself with a great sword upon a red horse. Famine is that upon a black horse with a scale. And then death itself has a spear and is upon a white ghostly horse. Each of these horses and the weapons they carry are actually pretty significant in what they're supposed to bring and symbolize. And that's how complicated they get. Apparently, in Revelation, the book of Revelations, in chapter 6, there's a book or scroll in God's right hand. Of course, the left hand is Jesus. The right hand is this book.
Right.
Upon it are 7 seals. Now, you might have heard the famous movie, The Seventh Seal. But each of these seals is gently, and not gently, is removed to produce basically the effect of what's leading up into the rapture and that of the apocalypse at the end of time. So, in some readings and interpretations, each one of these seals is released, and that is then the proceeding of one, the horse, and then the rider itself, even though technically there'd be 8, there's 4, and then 4 horses, but 2 of them come out at the same time. It gets really, really complicated. Really complicated. And there are a lot of interpretations for how each one of these horsemen themselves works, and also a lot of instances in history in which they believe those horsemen might have been released a little bit too early. Some of those including great infectious diseases, bubonic plague, wars, almost everyone ever, the prosperity of the Roman Empire, and
I failed.
Divisions of empires of great, such as the Romans again,
Yeah,
of course.
Of course. They failed though. Their empire
Classically, imperial oppression, sorry. And people have heard a lot of the pale horse itself, of course. And that is, of course, the horse that death is upon.
Do you think these are related to the Wild Hunt in any way?
Oh, absolutely. Like, if we're talking about it. I mean, many of the first rider, or the first that come with the Wild Hunt are upon horseback, obviously. Yeah. I mean, you can go as simple as saying they're just faster. But in these instances also, usually, if we're going to talk about the formations of military rank, almost as far back as ancient times, ones upon horses are usually generals, captains, or those leading the army. And so those, more importantly in this case, bringing upon the apocalypse, of course, is 4 great captains or generals that are leading each of these instances.
It's about time to wrap it up.
It is? Oh, wow, really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, wow. Is there going to be a part 2 to this?
It could be.
I think there could be.
I don't know how many other beings that fall into this category, but yeah.
I apparently have a page open that has 47, so I don't know. But, wow, okay.
You'll have to send me that.
So yeah, so I feel like I really didn't do it justice to the four horsemen of the apocalypse, but that's something we might be able to touch a little bit more on in the future, because obviously these tie into a lot of different values and themes we've mentioned in previous stuff. So
Yeah. So anyway, thank you for listening.
so yeah, thank you for listening. Holy
ladies
cow.
and gentlemen, non-binary friends.
Yeah, hopefully you guys were comfortable upon this journey on the rails of the Paranormal Express. So we're going to pull into the station here and usher you guys off for now. But of course, we'll be back next Friday.
Of course.
Again, here at 8
You can
o'clock.
find us at the Mothman statue.
Oh, absolutely.
That's where we park our train.
I've heard there's beautiful railways in West Virginia. Yeah, maybe
Probably.
that's something we'll try upon. Okay.
Yep. Just
Have a great night, everybody.
Yeah, have a good night. So wait, why aren't we stopping?
We're not stopping yet?
Oh,
Hold on.
Wait,
hold
there's a
on.
wind.
I need to
There's a
check the
gust.
schedule.
I hear a gust coming in. The Wild Hunt has brought us another paper
Oh, yes, another quarry for us to read upon. What is it?
from the KUR Notebook. Attention, KU community. Did you know that the Tutoring Services Office provides KU students with math peer tutoring? This service is completely free and no appointment is needed. This covers everything from Math 17 to Calculus. If you are interested, math peer tutoring is offered Monday through Thursday from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. in Lytle Room 218. This message is brought to you by the radio voice of Kutztown University, KUR.
Awesome. So, do you think within the next 7 minutes you can cram in that one last
Maybe.
entry?
Yeah,
What do we got for
probably.
that?
So, everyone's heard of this, of the fairy woman, right? You know what the fairy woman is? The woman of the fairy mound?
Maybe.
No one knows her by that name.
Okay, I
Everyone
don't.
knows her as
I'm sorry.
the Banshee. She is the Banshee.
Oh, the Banshee.
Everyone knows the Banshee, pretty much. It's one of the more popular.
What did she do to
Celtic
get
monsters.
banned?
She she'd.
Oh, okay. That's pretty. That is a bannable offense.
No, I don't know what she did actually. Well, she didn't get banned, obviously. Ban is the Celtic word for, I think, mound, or I think that either that or it's the woman part. I don't know.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but basically the name Banshee, or one of the other various spellings of it in Celtic origin, means like woman of the fairy mound or fairy woman. She is a fairy, which in Celtic culture is not really the type of fairy you're thinking of.
Mm-mm.
It's usually just some sort of paranormal deity or entity. It's not always a deity. They're monsters, or they're just beings. This woman, of course, is known for her keening, or her shrieking, or wailing. Keening, specifically, is a traditional part of a Celtic funeral, specifically, I think, from Ireland and Scotland. I don't know about Wales. But yeah, in that they weep or they wail, and there's a keening woman at a funeral who's sometimes a professional, and they're in like high demand usually, and it's just there's a lot of traditional things like that. Like I think there's stuff like that in Egyptian funerals as well, but I'm not 100% certain on that. I'm speaking from a vague memory. But yes, she is supposedly a being that will appear in front of people who are going, or as soon as they see them, they either have had a death in their family already and they don't know about it, or they will know about it soon. Even if that family member is far away and they won't hear about it for a while, or they are going to die soon, because usually she'll appear in front of people who are they're sick, and that is going to result in their death. But yes, she is a predictor of death. And there are various figures who are similar to her in other various Celtic mythologies. Trying to find the list of them really quick. I don't know how to pronounce these. I'm going to go with the English translations. They are the keening woman from a province called, I think, Leinster or Leinster in Ireland. I am not going to even try to pronounce that, because Celtic pronunciation is
all over the place.
All over the place. But yeah, keening woman is what that first one translates to. That's specifically another part of Ireland, another name for her in Ireland. In Scottish folklore, she's called the Little Washerwoman. And this one's a little bit different. She doesn't. She's not a whaler or she's not keening in this. She's specifically washing the blood-stained clothes or armor of the fallen, those who are going to die or have died. And there's another folklore or another figure in folklore, in Welsh folklore, and I'm not going to try to pronounce that either. I'll look at the translation though. I couldn't find a proper actual pronunciation. It means her name translates to muscle, tendon, or flesh, and the other part of it translates to skeleton or a thing of mere flesh and bone. It's very interesting. Or specter or death portent, which is, of course, fitting for the show, and wraith. By the way, we are only at 55.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is another figure, which I didn't actually do much research into because I decided not to do her. But now that I know that she's basically a banshee, it's a little more interesting. But she's the Welsh version, which is even more annoying with its pronunciation. Not in any way to disparage the Welsh. I do think it's all interesting. It's just pronunciation's hard when you don't know the language.
I mean, yeah, because an LO could be a TH and you'd have no idea.
Exactly. But yeah, she's this specific version of her is said to have a moaning voice that sounds the person's death, which is exactly what a banshee does. But they don't moan. Banshees don't moan. They're kind of screaming or shrieking. It's usually the word used there, or keening, which is the specific thing that I went into before. So yeah. Oh, so the sound of the moan is it's described here as doleful or disagreeable, and it sounds of someone who's deathly ill, and it grows fainter and fainter over time until the person expires. She's also said to travel along the Glamorganshire or Glamorganshire coast, and she's said to have been heard before a shipwreck, which is a completely different, sort of portent, if you want to call it that, or harbinger of another type of doom. But it's very different from just death. I mean, although shipwrecks often result in death. But she's accompanied, and she's apparently accompanied by a corpse light or a willow wisp.
Oh,
yeah.
We've talked about the Wisp Mother before, correct?
I think the Wisp Mother is specifically a Skyrim thing, but yes.
Is it? Oh, it is. I think I made that same mistake last time.
I don't remember. I think we did talk about the Will-O-Wisp.
Yeah.
I think it's very interesting. That also connects to Pokemon because there's a specific Pokemon who I like, and I showed you a picture of earlier.
Yeah.
Who is considered a Will-O-Wisp, and it's not the move Will-O-Wisp from that you can get with some of the Ghost Pokemon. It's Chimchar. I almost said Charmander. Chimchar. He's considered the Will-O-Wisp.
Really?
Because his flaming tail, and he climbs around in trees, and people see at night, they just see a ball of fire flying around.
That's pretty cool. Wow.
Yeah.
I was like, really? Like, not Litwick, the ghost candle Pokemon or anything?
No.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, in the latest game, in the Arceus, the final evolution of what's his name, Typhlosion. He has the balls around him, the Japanese ghost things.
Yeah.
Which are similar to that.
Little spirit fire things.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
So I think now we can actually wrap up.
Oh yeah, we finally arrived at that stop. I don't know. We start slowing down, creeping to the station, so we assumed the worst. But here we are now. Apologies for the confusion of that. But
just about
good a time as any.
We're a little early
to let us off.
Yeah.
It's fine. That's good enough.
Like a couple minutes.
We're not gonna miss the station by any bit or get stopped too early. Oh, that was a nightmare when that happened the one time, and then we broke down and we couldn't keep it going.
Yeah,
we had to
get our jumper cables out.
We had to. Yeah. We had to ask one of the gods with the cool chariots going by. They helped us out, gave us a jump start. Yeah. Embarrassing stuff. All right. Well, hopefully this has been an exciting Exciting rail.
All right, we should probably wrap it up before you break down.
Okay, what are you going to say?
I was just going to say catch us next week at the same time. And you can check us out on our social medias, Instagram and Twitter, at Paranormal _EXP for Twitter, and at paranormal_express_podcast on Instagram. Or you can check out our website, paranormal-express.com, and to find out more information about us and where else you can listen to us.
Absolutely. You guys have a fantastic night and safe travels home.